What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we are going over Decentraland Mana as its price has less than 3 days before we are going to see the inevitable breakout of this triangle, which could entail some pretty solid growth and gains to the upside, or it could be the very start to some type of more extensive reversal. So with that being said, of course, let's go ahead and let's get into today's video. So first and foremost, I will go ahead and say that we are looking at the apex of this triangle being around December 5th, the very last couple hours of December 5th. So of course, being, with that, we have about 72 hours before we are going to see a breakout to one side or another. Now, personally speaking, I believe we are going to see the breakout to the top side. That is what I think is going to happen. Of course, you can never be 100% sure, you can never know for certain, but that is what I believe is going to happen. Now, the reason that I believe that is going to be for a few different reasons. First and foremost, being the fact that we started to correct the bearish divergence that we were seeing on the 4-hour charts. What I mean by that is as we were putting in these highs, high number 1 and high number 2. You can see that on our RSI, we put in high number 1 and a lower high number 2, while on the price it was a higher high number 2. So what this is bearish divergence. This means that the move to the upside that we saw here may have not been supported by extremely bullish momentum, and there definitely could be some type of pullback, similar to what we saw, of course. Now, coming up off of high number 2, we set a higher high on number 3. Well, from there, on the RSI, we set actually a higher high, number 3. What this says is that we saw a correction of this divergence, and it was confirmed by the fact that we actually put in a higher high on number 3 than we did on number 1. And what that tells us is that we didn't see bearish divergence from 2 to 3, and we didn't see divergence from 1 to 3. All of that to say that even if we did see some type of retracement, as we are seeing now, it's not really being supported by some type of extremely bearish divergence. All of that to say that nothing is really forcing the price down in terms of divergences. Now, not only that though, we are seeing the opposite happening on the bottom side. Now, what I mean by that is at the moment we can see that we put in this low number 1 here. We have yet to really put in a defined low number 2, something in which we really turn the price back around. But what you can see is that we're still extremely higher than low number 1 on this low number 2. So this is 2, this is 1, and low number 2 is again real higher than number 1. But as we can see here on the RSI, we have come down to already set this lower low. So what that tells me is that we are already starting to see some bullish divergence forming on the charts, and unless the price comes all the way down below low number 1, which I don't think will happen, we're likely going to see this bullish divergence play out, which could very possibly push the price to the upside. So seeing the combination of those things, as well as looking at the MACD on the 4-hour charts, one thing we can see here is that we were looking to see some convergence, and it does seem as if we may be looking to see that move to the top side here, which our blue EMA crosses through the orange EMA, which would of course entail that we would be looking at maybe a swing in some bullish momentum. And if that was to happen, we could possibly see a bit of a reversal on the daily MACD, which is looking quite bearish at the moment. Okay, so overall, what this all tells me is that there is a very strong chance that we do break out to the top side of this falling triangle here, especially considering the fact that falling triangles are inherently bullish patterns and we typically break to the top side. So all of that combined to say that I do believe we're going to see the break to the upside. Now, in the event in which we do see a break to the upside, what I think we need to be paying attention to is a very, very key level of resistance, and that's going to be $5. Personally speaking, I wouldn't be looking to buy any more mana until we clear $5 and are able to hold above it. Now, of course, reason number 1 being it is such a key level of resistance. As we can see, we failed to hold it at support here, we failed to hold it at support here, and every time we failed to hold $5 as support, it did lead to a fall like here and like here, as well as the fact that it's our very last peak on our VPVR. So all of that to say that there's a good chance that we do break out to the top side, run into some resistance here, and get pushed back down for the time being. And I don't want to be buying right before we're going to see some type of big reversal back to possibly even lower numbers. I'd much rather be buying on the support establishment and then the clearing of a key level such as $5, maybe even a support establishment at that level before we do continue upwards. So if we do see the breakout to the upside, be looking for $5. That's going to really be the big confirmation that we are still seeing a supported move to the upside. Now, if we do start to see the price making a move to the downside, I do believe that we would find support rather quickly. Now, this is within the realm of possibility. Of course, our MACD does look bearish on the daily charts. This is not looking the best. That we definitely want to see a turnaround pretty soon here. And so we need to consider that this is within the realm of possibility. So if we are to see the breakout to the downside here, right? If we start to see the price rolling back down, what I would go ahead and say is there's a very, very strong likelihood that we do start to come back down towards some of these key support levels at around $3.90 and $3.50. And we're going to use this as our support box, okay? Now, what this tells me is I do believe that if we see the breakout to the downside, this is where we're going, okay? We're going to come down into this little area right here. So personally, if we do break to the downside, I wouldn't even be looking to dollar cost average in or do anything of that nature until we get towards, you know, this $3.90 to $3.50 range. That's really the only time in which I would be buying. At that point, we would start to see an interaction with our 200 EMA on the 4-hour charts, as well as looking at the daily charts. We would also see that interaction with the 20 and likely this 50 EMA as well. And all of that to say that there are so many key support levels in this area, especially being backed by our VPVR, having some key support levels here. I do believe that that is where we would find some support before looking to continue to the upside. So overall, that is exactly how I would be playing this thing, looking for the clearing of $5 before I get too excited. Overall, we definitely want to see this bounce happen pretty soon. We can see some bearish crosses happening in the charts here. And so all of this to say, we're at a pretty strong moment where we need to see that bounce pretty quickly. And so with that being said, of course, I hope you guys did enjoy today's little update. If you guys did, I know it's a little bit shorter, but I think you guys enjoy these short updates. Definitely just let me know by smashing the like button. That's all I ask. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to sign up to the Patreon. You don't have to do anything. I just ask that you hit the like button so more content gets pushed out to even more people. And I appreciate each and every one of you for doing so. But with that being said, I'll see you all very soon in the next update. Peace.